I'm Nat. I'm a theologian and an anthropologist, and I'm here today to speak to the question, why does reading the Bible matter? It was written so long ago. And does how we read it matter? Before we get started, I'm interjecting to say that when you hear me say scripture in this video, I'm speaking specifically about the New Testament. This is not to say that the Old Testament isn't equally important for Christianity, because it is. It's just that I feel more qualified in the New Testament because I took ancient Greek as my language requirement in grad school, and so I know more about the historical context of the New Testament than the Old. My cat keeps, hey baby girl. For a layperson approaching the Bible, I'd say that an important thing to practice is connecting metaphors between disparate writings and understanding that biblical authors were taking set metaphors, like in Jesus' parables, and using them in essentially the same manner across all of these early Christian writings. For example, baptism is one of the most important rituals for Christianity. In Scripture, water is almost always used as a metaphor for divinity. So, the next time you read the Gospels, you can look for all the times water is mentioned, even outside of the baptismal context. In what ways and in what context is water being discussed? What significance is given to it? How is it described? This kind of analysis is called exegesis and is how theologians are taught to read Scripture. There is absolutely something to be said about the value of doing exegesis on a passage when you are already familiar with the historical context that it was written in. If you feel stuck on your faith journey or find yourself having questions like, why does the Bible matter? I actually advise looking into how the religion developed. In my opinion, your theology should be based around whoever you think attacked the question of faith and God the best. And if you're finding that something isn't jiving, then you maybe need to look at that person's setup of theology and see which specific ideas of theirs don't match with what you believe, and go back to the source, like where they're sourcing their ideas from, and see if you have different conceptions there, and so on and so forth. If you think that how your religion developed was kind of boring and you don't want to study the history of it, maybe you could look at other faith tradition scriptures from that moment in history or from an equivalent period in their development. Compare and contrast like you did in English class in high school. It's kind of fun. And this is still exegesis. Not only will you learn about the historical context that contributed to the issues that were considered essential for the faith at the time, but you'll learn more about the development of humanity, anthropologically speaking. Cat, thank you. And hopefully, putting more effort into learning about the history of your religious tradition will make you into a more well-rounded thinker, who sees the value of cultural and historical context and recognizes that these things change drastically over time. This all falls under the umbrella of exegesis. So let's do another example. A lot of the Pauline letters address things like what meat they can eat, circumcision, and how masters and slaves should interact. This is because they were written in the 1st century by a Jew for communities that were integrating Jewish tradition into Gentile society for really the first time, religiously speaking. As a note, when I say Gentile, I mean any population that is not Jewish, like those that worshipped Greek or Roman gods. So it's very important to keep this in mind. Paul himself wrote the bulk of his letters from prison, where he was put because of the politics connected with the way of worship he was attempting to teach. In my favorite passage in Acts, which is Acts 17, 16 to 21, While Paul was waiting for them in Athens, he was deeply distressed to see that the city was full of idols. So he argued in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and also in the marketplace every day with those who happened to be there. Also, some Epicurean and Stoic philosophers debated with him. Some said, "What does this babbler want to say?" Others said, "He seems to be a proclaimer of foreign divinities." This was because he was telling the good news about Jesus and the resurrection. So they took him and brought him to the Areopagus and asked him, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? It sounds rather strange to us, so we would like to know what it means." Now, all the Athenians and the foreigners living there would spend their time in nothing but telling or hearing something new. So Paul is in the Agora, or the marketplace, in Athens, and he's having a philosophical debate, because that's what happened in the Agora. And I love this. It's fairly early in Paul's journey, and it really shows that Christianity was trying to find its place as a balance between Gentile and Jewish culture. The fact that Paul, at least at one point, did this by engaging in the traditional structure of Greek debate is hugely significant when you're putting this into the wider context that I just mentioned. Remember, biblical writers are writing from an entirely different historical perspective. They are asking entirely different questions about the faith tradition than we do when we read these documents, because the faith tradition was at an entirely different point in its evolution, as was wider society. So you're not going to resonate 100% with everything that's written in the New Testament, because the New Testament was written in the 1st century CE. But keeping this in mind will help you connect the overarching themes found within, as well as give you context for the issues that, for example, Paul addressed. And it'll give you a starting place for applying those lessons to modern day society.